Hi everyone, I'm Hayley. I'm always in the craft room, and today I have some finished trousers to show you. They are made from a navy blue, I know you'll be surprised, stretch twill. They have a supposedly invisible, but not very invisible side zip, and they're a crotch length. Does anybody remember these trousers from a previous Friday sews? Yes, they are the Burda Trousers of Doom, which I relegated to the naughty box. I will let past Hayley explain what was wrong with these trousers. And then once I'd got the fit where I wanted it, I was able to stand back and appreciate the whole garment. And that's when I thought something's off here. Something's a bit wrong. These don't look like I was expecting. I kind of look like an extra from Pirates of the Caribbean. Why is that? Because they're so freaking short. Yeah, they were a little bit short. I spotted them in the bottom of the naughty box when I was looking for a small project to do and my machine was threaded in navy. You know I like to choose my projects by which colour my machine is threaded. And although I had actually no desire whatsoever to finish these trousers, or indeed ever really look at them again, I thought, just try them on. Just see if they're as bad as you remember. And I tried them on. And what do you know? They really weren't that bad. Honestly, they were shorter than I'd hoped, but they weren't ridiculously short like I thought they were at the time. It's amazing what a little bit of time and space can do. Really, they were still giving pirate costume vibes, and I worked out why that was. The bottom of the trouser leg was supposed to have a slit up either side, which was a nice design detail, one that I liked in the modelled photos on the pattern envelope. But when I put them on, because this fabric has quite a lot of body, it was like legs and then just flared bits. It was really giving pirate vibes. So the first thing I did was just sew all the way down the side seam to make them a straight leg. And when I put them on with that alteration done, suddenly I was like, yeah, you know what, they're fine. They're not amazing, and I won't be making this pattern again. This is like the third time I've made it, and I don't know why I have been torturing myself with this pattern. It's clearly just not a good one for me, except I do know why. It's because they look like such a useful pair of trousers on the pattern envelope, but whatever it is about this drafting or whatever, it just doesn't seem great for me. So I just need to let it go and move on. However, I do have a finished pair of trousers now. So once I'd sorted out the side seam, I did still want them longer than I had. So I hemmed them, taking the teeniest, tiniest hem I possibly could. By overlocking the edge, I just overlocked all the way around the bottom of the trouser leg. And then I used hem tape. I'm going to bring it closer and show you. It's a product by Wright, and it is a flexi lace hem tape. And all you do is lie it on top of the hem, sew in a ditch, just like top stitch, turn it up, and then top stitch further up the leg. So it's given me, say, about an inch hem. You can see I've just top stitched a hem. And yet all I had to turn was 6mm. Sorry, I'm mixing systems there, aren't I? But yeah, 2.5cm hem for a 6mm loss of fabric. So that was fantastic, and I'm glad I had that in the stash. It's black, the trousers are navy. No one will ever notice. Then I had to do the facing, and this is when I realised why the trousers were so short. So in my previous Friday sews, I had thought maybe I cut out the wrong view, and that didn't seem right to me because I knew I'd made them before in the longer length. And so the pattern that I traced off was the longer length. So how could I accidentally cut the shorter length without deliberately folding some of the length away? Anyway, I think I came up with the answer when I went to get to the facing and realised I hadn't cut one out, looked at the scraps of fabric that I had, and I realised there was just literally no fabric left. It was just slivers from like the edges. There was no length. And that's when I thought, this fabric was a remnant. There just wasn't that much of it. And I just cut the trousers as long as I could with the fabric I had available. That should be the name of this channel. Anyway, so without any self fabric to make a facing, I went in the stash and found a navy poplin. It was just a scrap, and honestly, it's actually softer than the outer fabric, so it's great for a facing. The way they have you put this zip in, I know I've complained about it before. It's an invisible zip, and to do it, they just tell you to sew up the side seam, basting where the zip goes, then lay the completed garment on top of the zip, sew around the zip and unpick the basting. So it's an inseam zip, if you know what I mean, but sorry, Burda, there is nothing invisible about that. Also, this hasn't happened on any of my other invisible zips before. So I don't know if it is because of the installation or if it's just because I was cross and wasn't doing a great job. Or maybe it's because they are a really fitted trouser. But this bit digs in. This is the squishiest bit of me, and they just poke me. They're not very comfortable, and they are really close fitting, which, like, that's what I asked for. They're a close fitting trouser, so they were never going to be as comfortable as a looser trouser. But they're also these, I don't want to sound like I'm whinging, but I totally am whinging. I got what I paid for, which is a fairly low-waisted, slim fit trouser. The zip instruction wasn't great, but apart from that, none of this is Burda's fault. Like, I got what I asked for. However, since buying the pattern, styles have moved on. I seem to have moved on, and low-rise trousers are no longer my preference. So these feel a bit weird on because they are quite low-rise. If you look at the back here, you can see like where the crotch begins. They don't come up that far, and that feels a little bit odd to me now just because I've been used to wearing high waist trousers for the last couple of years. So as I say, not Burda's fault, but I think I've basically been on a trouser journey. So let's rewind to before I could sew, when, like most people, I just had to buy what was available in the shops. And for me, my hips are always 1 or 2 sizes smaller than my waist. So my options in ready-to-wear trousers are to buy trousers that fit at the hips and bum, which look nice and look like they fit, and they pinch my waist all day long, or buy trousers which fit at my waist and then they're so baggy and saggy around my bum and hips that it kind of drags them down, and I'm constantly pulling them up, and also they just look sloppy. I look like I'm wearing the wrong size trousers. So for a smartish pair of trousers like this that say I would wear to work, there was no point in buying smart tailored trousers that fit at my waist, because by the hips and bum, which is the part you can usually see because you've got a blouse covering your waist most of the time, they didn't look like tailored trousers. They looked like jogging bottoms because they were so roomy. So in order to have a tailored fit, I would have to buy ones that fit at the waist and hips, and then they were just very, very uncomfortable. So my historic experience of trousers is waistbands are uncomfortable. So when I first started making trousers, I chose waistband-less versions like this, which just have a facing, assuming that they would be more comfortable. However, now I can sew. I've learned I can cut the bum and hips in one size and the waistband in a bigger size to make them comfortable. And I can just kind of fudge it with the seam allowances so that it all marries up. But it's just transformational. I also usually do a flat bottom adjustment, and I did do a flat bottom adjustment on this. But now I have experienced fitted trousers with a waistband that fits me and hips and bum that fit me. They're actually not uncomfortable. It was like, I suddenly understand why people like wearing trousers. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm not really a dress or a skirt person. I prefer separates. And I've just never liked really wearing trousers because of the uncomfortable thing. And now I get it because I've owned trousers with a waistband that don't dig in all day, or trousers that fit at the waist that aren't dragged down by an excess of material. So now I know that I no longer really need to look for patterns that don't have a waistband, which I have now discovered is not the comfiest thing. Also, I'm sure it's me, but this facing does not want to stay tucked in, which isn't the worst thing because actually it gives me a little more coverage at the small of my back. Can you see there how the facing is naturally turning out? Now, on my recent video where I was talking about how I don't like pins, I had so many great suggestions, by the way. Thank you so much. Somebody suggested checking out Janet Prey and the Islander method of sewing. So I was watching some of her videos, and it was light bulb moments here, there, and everywhere. And one of the things she was talking about was sewing and a facing. I'm going to link to the video below. It's really short. It is so informative. For nuggets of wisdom per minute, I don't think you can get higher than Janet Prey. And one of the things she was talking about was as you're sewing a facing, to respect the curve and not try and straighten it out as you put it under the presser foot, but to allow the fabric to stay curved. Wow. I have not been doing that. I have not been respecting my curves. So maybe that's why my facings never stay put. Anyway, now I know better. I can do better. I can try different next time. But yeah, I will not be making this pattern again. However, the finished trousers are going to be super useful because I rarely go into the office, but because of that, I don't have many office appropriate clothes. I used to wear like full on tailored trouser suit, skirt suit, or a shift dress and a jacket. Since most people have started hybrid working, that no longer seems to be the dress code at our office at all. So if I were to wear that, I would feel kind of silly and costumey, especially because I'm only calling in usually. But I also wouldn't feel right calling in jeans or jogging bottoms or trainers. So this is the perfect smart casual look. Nice, tailored, navy trousers, good length. They really are. Honestly, they're fine. I would prefer a little bit longer, but they're fine. But I do think, even though I don't love them, I think they will get a lot of use as office trousers. And also just, if I just need a really plain backdrop to a zhuzhy top that's not jeans, they'll be ideal. So anyway, the saga is over. I did finally complete the trousers. I'm very pleased that they're done. Gold star for me. The other thing that's been languishing in the naughty box was this broderie anglaise dress. And there were a few problems with it. The main one was the sleeves, but I also wasn't happy with the neckline, which I had put a kind of binding on, but it was puckering because of the broderie texture. So I have redone the neckline. It's better. It's not perfect. Can you see? It's still a touch kind of puckery. I think it will be better on the body on a 3D, but it no longer has actual individual puckers, if you know what I mean. So all I did was cut the top stitching at the two shoulder seams, unpicked that row of top stitching, flipped it out, and then unpicked the actual stitching along the neckline edge for like 5 centimetres where it was over the really bumpy bit of embroidery that was causing the ugly puckers. And I don't think I took a photo, which was silly, but it is way, 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 way better. As you can see, I have now got both arms in. I've added on the sleeve from the Tiana's Closet Lally dress because all of my other various sleeve attempts had failed. It just needs gathering into a cuff. And then I need to decide lengthwise whether I'm adding this ruffle, which I had created. What I'm going to do is finish the sleeves, try it on, pin the ruffle, pin it without the ruffle, and make a decision. I actually think it will be quite a useful dress if we're having a fairly warm autumn. I can't say I love it, but I think it's just because I'm cross with it. But yeah, I'm glad to be making some progress on that as well, because I would like it out of the craft room and into the wardrobe. So plans for this week is an alteration, but a really easy one and on a top I love, so shouldn't be too daunting. Do you remember last week I was wearing my Pattern Scout Flora? That's the back actually, but isn't it gorgeous? I absolutely love this top. I love the shaping around the neckline. I love the pleats. This is kind of, it's coming up brighter on screen, but it is pretty bright. But I don't think you can see that it's got a sand wash texture. It's absolutely beautiful. I love this fabric. I think it's Tencel. It was from Rainbow Fabrics ages ago. Anyway, the alteration that I need is, I think I've made the straps just a touch too long, and I've only worn it twice this summer. Once to the pub and it was falling off my shoulder constantly and driving me mad. And once the day I filmed that video, when you also might have noticed it was falling off my shoulder and driving me mad. So I think what I'm going to do is at the back, just turn the strap in a centimetre to make it 2 centimetres shorter and just top stitch along this top stitching line so that the length is still there on the strap in case I decide I was wrong and want to let it back down. But yeah, it is really annoying me. So I just want to quickly change that. So that should be a nice, easy task. And then, yeah, just see where the mood takes me. So that was quite a quick Friday sews this week, but one finished garment and one on the way. I'm pretty pleased with that. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.